Hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us for our weather update as we go through this week with a cold blast on its way, but it's very short-lived and we've got warmer weather coming as early as the end of the week. So let's take a look and see what's going on. On the animated wind map today, we've put on the air pressure. So you can see low air pressure in the dark colouring down here and high pressure. There's a big high in the southeastern corner of Aussie and another big high out to our east. So low pressure is now engulfing the New Zealand area and we've got this cold southerly coming in for about 48 hours and then it's gone. So it starts today. Now the North Island still has a nor'wester, so it's pretty mild for the North Island across your Monday, but in the South Island, cooler winds and they're only getting colder as we go through the next 24 hours. Now we've got a bit more wind coming this evening. We've had a blustery couple of days. It eased a little bit on Monday in many areas, but it comes back later on today. So this is Monday evening. The wind barbs, the little pointers, they show you the average wind speed. So a lot of places out at sea here coming into coastal areas are in the orange and yellow. So that's sort of averaging around 30 to 50 k's an hour. That's below gale force. Even lighter winds with the green. But once you get the inland areas, the filled in colours, those are the gusts. And so we are seeing larger areas in red. Now mostly that's in the ranges and the mountains, but that is gale force. You're talking about gale force winds. So gales also brushing coastal parts of Auckland later today, but it should mostly be below damaging. We're not really expecting much in the way of power cuts or any issues like that, but it's still getting up towards that area where we start to say, hey, just keep an eye on the wind forecasts. Now let's take a look at how much rain has fallen over the last 24 hours. Actually, this is the Sunday rainfall map up until the early hours of Monday morning. You can see the areas here in pink, that's 70 to 100 millimetres of rain. So we have seen some good downpours. The mountains in the blue, that's well up over around 200 millimetres, so no one lives up there. But the populated places like Waikato, patchy, some areas were lucky enough to get 70 or 80 millimetres around the Bombay Hills and Hanua Ranges. Coromandel Peninsula and the Kaimais were similar, but the Hauraki Plains and maybe some parts of Northland perhaps only had 10, 15 millimetres. So it was patchy, but many places had their wettest day we've seen in a number of weeks or months even in some cases. So let's take a look at this week. Tuesday is the cold day. It surges northwards. We've got snow down to 400 or 500 metres in the South Island. We've got hail showers to sea level and temperatures 10, 11, 12 degrees below where they were with your daytime highs at times over the last week. So colder weather surges northwards on Tuesday. The dark blue line indicates the coldest air south of that, and this is heading northwards, getting up to the upper North Island later in the day, which shows you that for the very north of the country, the next sort of 24 hours are not so bad, but as you get in towards Tuesday afternoon, that's when the colder weather comes through and the temperatures start to drop. That dark blue line goes north of Cape Reinga on Wednesday morning, but by the afternoon it starts to slide out to the east. Quite quickly, in fact, that cold weather moves more towards eastern parts of the North Island. That's where the showers line up, and it's dry almost everywhere else as those winds start to swing a little bit more southerly. So Tuesday, Wednesday are the two coldest days this week. However, in the south, by Wednesday, the westerlies are already returning, and by Thursday, look at this map, there is high pressure. This is Thursday. You got subtropical and Australian interior winds coming out over Sydney and drifting in and into central parts of the country. So the end of this week will be ending much warmer than Tuesday and Wednesday were. So that's a little bit of a twist for you as we go through this week. Very typical autumn weather. You know, we're not in winter at the moment, we're in autumn. So as we get to the end of the working week on Friday, the high drifting in closer, subtropical winds coming in for some places, Australian nor'westers coming in for others. So it may not be hot, but it's certainly going to be milder than it should be in many places for this time of the year. And our final map for Saturday shows more dry weather. So once we get through the burst of showers at the start of this week, then there's a dry stretch through the rest of the working week, the coming up weekend as well, because we've got mostly high pressure rolling through. And as we go through Saturday, more of those nor'westers are building for Sunday and into early next week as well. That is all from me. Hopefully a positive forecast for you. We'll see you again on Tuesday.